Hello, welcome back, and today we are in the Embraer 110 Bandeirante, or Bandeirante, or whatever how you pronounce it. This was originally for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, but I believe it now works and it's been updated for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. That's what it says in the description. Anyway, and obviously this aircraft is it comes with 3 accurately modelled variants of the Embraer 110. It includes the Embraer EMB-110P, the EMB-110P1, and EMB-110P1K, the freighter version of the Embraer 110P. It's got a realistic flight model, apparently, and the frame rate friendly models while keeping good look and feel. It's got the full Microsoft Flight Sim SDK complement development, high quality PBR textures, native rain effects, and scratching details in the windshield and frosting effects in the aircraft structure. It's got native integration of the GTN 750 and the GTN 650 development by PMS 50. This add-on is not included and must be downloaded directly from the pms50.com website. There is a free version as well, which has less features, but it works just the same. And the electronic flight bag, the EFB, in the form of a mobile tablet featuring doors, ground handling management, and avionics, hot swapping, GTN or a GNS features. We'll have a look at that in a bit. There's 12 different liveries in total across the variants, from all different operators all over the world. Interactive in-sim checklists as well. It's got an accurately rendered 3D virtual cockpit with virtual cabin included, and it's got custom coded animation virtually everywhere in the aircraft, including doors and side windows in the flight deck. It's fully modernized avionics for better modern flight operations, including an easy to use autopilot system. It's got authentic and remastered PT6A 37 engine sound set plus cockpit sounds, and it's compatible with VR mode. This aircraft is available to purchase on most of the recognised add-on websites out there, including Just Flight's, Indie Builds, etc, etc. It's also, I think, available in the marketplace as well. Just looking, the airport is capable of transporting 21 passengers or cargo of a distance of 1,080 miles and a service ceiling of up to 21,000 feet. Okay, so it's a fairly old aircraft, this one. It is very, very cheap. It may be in a sale as this video goes out across the Easter weekend. The Unibuilds website, it's £9.29 in their sale, and on the Just Flight website it is currently at £12.99 in UK pounds. And again, you can get plenty of liveries off the Microsoft Flight Sim .2 website as well, if you want more liveries for it. I've not used this aircraft for some time. Last time I used this aircraft was in Microsoft Flight 2020 a few years ago. It used to be one of my favourite aircraft. But obviously I've not touched it for a long time, so this video is about me getting to grips with it, and as well as trying to get my checklist procedure in place as well. So in this video I'm going to go through what I could be doing as a checklist, as well, so it ain't going to be accurate in this video. So we are in the walk around mode. I don't know if walk around mode, I don't know if it's a native 2024 product. As we walk around here, I don't think, can we click anything on the aircraft? We've got tags there, and we've got engine covers there, but we can't click them, unfortunately. So it doesn't look like it's got the native walk around. So yeah, we can't click them. So, but they are there. But obviously, I think we have to use the EFP again to get rid of those. But as you can see, it's fairly detailed. It's I'm not quite sure how much work they've redone on this aircraft. I'm not sure when this version got released. I can tell you that the version is probably 1.6.3 is the latest version, I believe, possibly. I'm not quite sure if it's being updated anymore, but I believe that is the latest version, and it seems to be working so far in the sim. This is the first time I've tried it in the sim in 2024, so you're seeing this as I'm testing it. So yeah, should we go into the aircraft then? I've set up my custom views, I've already done that. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so like I said, then this video is all about me just putting out my checklist procedure together. I'm not going to write it up here. I'm just going to go through the aircraft and see if I can get it up and running and started. Not quite sure. Well, I might just take it for a quick flight around the airfield and come back in for a landing to see how it flies. But it's all about just getting to grips with it, and then obviously writing out my procedure as I do that. Anyway, should we look at the tablet? So click the upper right button above or tap the screen to power on, so you can basically click anywhere. And let's have a quick look what's on this tablet then. So it comes up with the ramp manager, so we can choose to close these or open them. They're all in place at the minute, so all the covers outside and stuff, we can click them off from in here, and we can also close the cargo door, and we can close the main door. We'll sort that out in a minute. We've also got a pushback feature there as well. This looks a bit more refreshed since the last time I used it. I've got some old videos of this aircraft, but this one looks a bit more refreshed in the tablet. And then we've got the aircraft preferences, we've got the avionics. We'll have a look at these in a bit. We've got allow GPS to govern co-pilots, that's enabled. Yeah, so we've got a few things here. In the tablet you can obviously enable or disable, and you can obviously use this to slide up and down the tablet there. So you've got play passenger sounds, open doors and place ramp safety elements, co-pilot avatar visible in the cockpit, so if you click that on and turn around you'll get co-pilot in there with you. We'll get rid of that one today. Allow your damp engaging on the ground, etc, etc. So we'll look at these in a minute. UI theme, so you got daytime, or you can change it to nighttime. I actually prefer the black background of nighttime. It's easier to look at. You got auto switching, so you can actually auto switch it so it changes automatically, but we'll leave it on the nighttime version for now. So there's a few different options. You just cycle through them. Time format 24 hours, display UTC time instead of local time, display seconds on clock, so you can put the seconds on down there as well, which is a cool feature. And you've got the obviously about the product there, so it is the 1.6.3 version. It's So it has been updated from Microsoft Flights in 2024. It just don't come with a native walk around, and it's from NextGen Simulations. And again, let's just cycle through. And I think that's it. I don't think there's any SimBrief integration or anything like that in the aircraft. That doesn't work up there, that one. I can't see nothing about any SimBrief stuff. So I don't think there is, which is fine. That's okay. So we'll just so we'll just get rid of the tail rod and the pilot tube covers, engine covers, and the wheel chocks can stay on for now because we're not quite ready to move. Traffic cones can stay there, and we can close the cargo door, and we can close the main door. We can actually get rid of the chocks and the traffic cones, so we ain't got to come back to it. Okay, and if we just go to outside, you can see now they've all been removed. So there we go. It does look good though. Okay. Oh, this is just a random livery that came with the aircraft. At the end of the video, I'll go through the different variants and liveries that come with the aircraft. Okay, so we're in the cockpit then. So the first thing we're going to do in the cockpit, the first thing we're going to look at in the cockpit is obviously we're going to make sure the parking brake is set. We can actually get rid of the yoke as well like that. So the parking brake is set, and power levers are idle, throttle levers idle, the propeller levers are idle, and the conditioner levers should be in fuel cutoff, like that. But by default they seem to be there, which is a bit weird. I don't mind them being there, but they technically should be in fuel cutoff. But I'm going to leave them as they were because otherwise I'll have to change them. So we'll leave them there, which means that basically the engine will start when we start it up. We haven't got a movement of fuel cutoff. And we want to also check the gear is down, so the gear lever is down. There we go. Okay, so that's the basics of the aircraft sorted. We can actually get rid of the yoke on this side as well if you want to for now, so we can see around the cockpit a bit further. We'll go through the avionics when we got the aircraft up and running. Okay, so then we're going to go to the overhead panel. So now we want to be switching on the batteries. So the battery switch is going to be that's the battery on, but we want external power. So you're going to put the battery down to external power. I think that means we get external power from the outside, I believe. I'm not too sure. We could switch up the battery as well, but we'll just put on external power for now. And then once we've done that, we want to put on the nav lights. So the navigation lights are up here onto the light section. So that just shows that other aircraft and people that were now in the aircraft. No smoking signs can go on up here as well. And we're going to be the cockpit and panel lighting is as required. As we're running during the daytime, we probably don't need cockpit and panel lighting on, but during the night time hours, darker hours, you probably will need that on as well. I'm just trying to see if there's a dome switch, because the dome switch will have to go on as well, especially during the darker hours, but it could be this cockpit switch, which is the dome switch. I'll have to double check that during the nighttime hours. Obviously over here we've got past cabin. I can go on. I'm not quite sure what NAC LG is. Not sure what that is, to be honest. So we'll just switch that on. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll just switch that on. And then we want to come back down to the main panel, and we want over here, we want to put the emergency lighting arm. So we want to arm that as well. Now if you get quite a few messages on the GPS over here, so you just want to click OK by pressing enter on both of those, like so, and that loads those up. But we're going to change those anyway shortly. And over here, I'm not quite sure if this switch is on. Does it switch on? Does this work? I'm not sure if it works. It does work. So that's the weather radar. Okay, so I can go into test and then back to standby. Obviously you won't really do this on the ground, but I always do it, so I ain't got to do it later. So there we go, we can put that into map. And down here we've got air conditioning down here. So this is the air conditioning panel, and we want to put that into on, I believe, and switch that across to auto. And defog is down there as well if you need to defog the windows. Okay, and what else? Just checking if there's anything else we need to switch on while we go through this cockpit procedure. Okay then, so at this point then, let's just have a look at these. So it would just zoom out a little bit here. So we've got, at the minute we've got the GNS 530, but if we change it to the GTN 750, it changes like that, see? And once it initializes, we get this screen. So this is this one with more, obviously more options like the map, and obviously your flight plan. So you can add your flight plan in there. And it's obviously the free version, so it's not as advanced as the payware. But if you go back to the 550, you get the smaller, much more basic screens, which is fine. But you can, I just settle on the 750 for this one. And like I said, I'm not going to go use all this today. But if I was going to use this, obviously you got your map here. If you've got a flight plan, you've got GCXO, which is where we're going if we're going to say our destination. So for example, we're going to Tenerife South because we're in Tenerife North at the minute. We'll go GC TS, and we can enter that, and then we get the direct to. We can have waypoints in between as well. Obviously, you could bring up the Microsoft Flight Simulator tablet, and you can do the flight panel. So you can go GCXO and add a Bible GCXO Tenerife. So if we're not doing this flight plan today, but this is just a simple idea, then of course you can add departure, jetways, find routes, so it adds the routing for you automatically. For example, it's going to send us all the way over here, but it's a strange route it's sent us on, but we're not going to be following that today anyway, because we're not doing that. And once you've done that, then you can send it to the avionics. I don't know if it works on these. It probably doesn't. Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't quite work on the. Then I don't know if it works on the standard one. Let's have a quick look. If you click on flight plan down here, I don't know if it works on these ones. Okay, so no, it doesn't quite work on these ones either. But the CDR button there is localizer and GPS. So we'll just switch it back to the 750s. There we go. Yeah, so the Microsoft Flight Simulator Flight Planner doesn't obviously work, which is fine. You can just do it within these screens here. And if you can add waypoints in, so for example, click on flight plan, okay, so 1 second, so it's okay, so because I switched them back over and switched it back on, it seems to have loaded it in. So okay, so they do work. Okay, so the flight plan does work then, which is interesting. Let's do another one. Let's try that again. So we want to GCXO. Let's go GCXO. So we're going to be just basically doing this. So let's see if it works. So we send it to the avionics. So that's been sent. We come back out of that. Obviously the GPS button down there. Go into map, and you get the CDI button. So you got localizer, GPS. So if it's on GPS, it follows the GPS. If it's on that, it'll follow the localizer for your ILS landing. If we zoom out, see, it's not quite loaded that one up, but if we go back into flight plan down here, I don't know if there's a refresh button, but still got the older flight plan in there. So if we switch back to the GTNS 530, load that one up, and we switch back to the GTN 750, we'll now see if it loads up the revised flight plan. So GCXO, yeah, so you've got to switch them back. If you do a change of flight plan, you've got to, and you're using the GTNS, the GTN 750 for example, or the GTN one up here, you've got to switch back to the GNS and then go and then switch it back, and it loads up the new flight plan. But the flight plans do work, and obviously Araco here is a waypoint we're probably not going to go to, so this waypoint you can just remove it, and so it you can remove that one as well, remove it. Okay, so if we look at the flight plan, so TFN is there, and then we're going to come back in. but you can add the approach in as well onto the ILS. So we're adding the runway 12, we can add an approach in ILS 12, for example, up to Bazoo. So up here, if we click on this one, we can you should be able to add an arrival. GCXO runway 12, approach ILS runway 12. There we go. So it's that one, and then we want BASUX, which is that one there. Transition BASUX, there we go, and then we can load approach. So there's our approach. Okay, so that's how you set up that, and then when you go back, you can go back to the menu. We'll go back, and we've got our world map, and we've got obviously our flight in, as you can see. There we go. So we're just going around. We're not going to do this flight today, but that's how you do it. And if you go back, you can obviously have your flight plan on the screen, or you get your procedures on the screen, and your departure and your arrivals. And down here as well, you can have your mapping down here, and you can zoom out, or you can have your flight plan on that one there as well. And there's a few other little things. The weather is not simulated in the free version. You got your nearest airport intersections and VORs and MDBs down there. You got your waypoint info down here as well, so you can obviously look up the elevation of the airport and stuff like that. And services, utilities. A lot of this stuff isn't simulated in this free version, and then you've got the different stuff here as well if you want to have a mess around in those options. But I shall leave it on map, and you can just zoom in and you can zoom out. And if it's in GPS mode, it will follow. We'll have a look, see if it follows it. If not, we won't really probably follow it anyway for the entire flight. Up there you've got your nav1, so if you want to know what your ILS frequency is, you can zoom in onto the EFB in Microsoft Flight Sim. You can click on the airport, more info, and we're going to have runway 12, and we've got a frequency of 108.700. So if we can click on that, and because I've got the approach in for ILS runway 12, it automatically brings up that anyway. And then you've got your squat code there if you're using ATC. We're not today, so we don't need to put a squat code in, so we can give that to off. And then yeah, you can click on that to get the identification of the radios. But if you wanted to change the frequency here, you go into standby, and then you can change it. So for example, 108, it does decimal for you anyway. 700, 70, enter. So that's how you change it, and then just swap it over like that. So that's the flight planning sorted in this aircraft. So while we've done that, the aircraft has already been boarded. So now we can think about getting the aircraft, the engines running, and to do that, obviously we've got to come down to the fuel, and we obviously want the fuel pumps on. We don't need the auxiliary ones on, we can leave those off, I believe. So we just want the main ones on. Crossfeed can we don't need to put crossfeed on. Got plenty fuel in both tanks, so it's just the two main fuels left and right we need on. The autopilot, by the way, is down here, so if you want to put in, for example, your altitude, you can do that there. And you got engage, which will engage in VS mode, so you can press on it. So that's your altitude. Go on VS mode, you've engaged it, press pull VS, and then you can increase your vertical speed up or vertical speed down, and you got the arrow pointing down. So we're just going to have vertical speed up, and we're going to go about 600 feet. A slow climb out 400 feet. That is done, and you can arm it. So that will arm for us. The flight directors are on, and we want to go into navigation mode here as well. Edit mode's there, yaw damp's there, autopilot's there, and you got approach mode, and you got altitude mode there, and flight, and stuff there as well. And you got your temp switch there, test switch there as well. Trim is there, so you can actually set the trim, and you want it sort of in the green like that. You can set up a trim on your joystick, a trim wheel, or keyboard commands, or something like that to get the trim, and you got footer situated there as well. Okay, and down here you've got, I don't think you need, you can switch it on, but I don't think you need it. It's your just leave that on. I'm not going to worry about that today. You got ADF frequencies all there as well, and we've got nothing to do on the ramp, so that's fine. So we're ready to engine start now. So let's get rid of that yoke. So back on the overhead panel again, we want to put the beacon on, anti-collision. I don't know if it's rotating or on, not sure. I think it's rotating for engine start up on the ground, isn't it? On will be when we're taking off, I believe. If I'm correct, I'm not really sure about this aircraft. Obviously we want to put our seatbelt signs on because we are already boarded, and we are, I'm just looking for the engine start. So we've got right side over here, and we've got left side over here. So we're going to start the right hand side of the aircraft first. So we're going to click that up to start. Okay, it's working because obviously we're out of fuel shut off. If we were down then in fuel cut off, we'd have to move the right lever out of fuel cut off, but it was already out of fuel cut off anyway. And so we're looking for the RPMs down here on the right hand engine, oil temperature, and back on the overhead panel again, we want to put the generator 2 on for the right engine, and we can put the inverters on for the right engine. Initial separation, not sure what that is, I've got to look at all this, but I'm going to switch it on now. If it's wrong, I'll change it later. Okay, and then we can do the same for the left engine. So start, get the green light, obviously the red lever and the condition lever is already out of fuel cutoff, so the engines will fire up. There we go. And once they fire up and they are settled down, we're just waiting for the needles to match. There we go, about 30%. Yeah, we can put the generator 1 on. We can put the inverter on the left hand side, and we can put the initial separation on. Now the battery switch here is on external power. Now if I switch that up to battery, it'll go past off, and I'm not sure if doing that is going to turn off the aircraft completely, so I'm going to leave it on external power for now. But maybe next time I'll do it from battery switch. I'll try it later, but maybe it should have been in battery up here rather than external power. But I'm not going to switch it now because I don't want to risk turning off the battery of the aircraft. So we'll have a look at that later when we land. Now the engines are running, we can actually put the passenger heat on, and we can put the static pilot heat on as well. Up there, wipers are as required, and we can set the flaps. So just one press of the flaps down there, and that's it. I think we are ready to go. If I just zoom out a little bit, because I'm not quite sure what the cockpit light, and you're probably not going to see it actually until it's dark, nor the panel lights. Probably not going to see those till the dark. Maybe towards the end, at the end of the video, we'll test those, see what they actually do. We're going to get rid of this screen now because we don't want to mess around with any of that. So we're just going to probably put it on a different screen. There's no map mode on here, which is unfortunate. But yeah, back to outside view. Cabin view. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so we've got they're there by default. The propellers are down there, and the throttle levers go. We're going to see how well we actually taxi out without moving any of these. Okay, so we're going to start our taxi now. So before we do that, we need to put our taxi light on the overhead panel. And we can take the parking brake off. Does it move? So it's starting to move now. The parking brake's off with no input on the throttles at all. So the aircraft is actually starting to move under its own power. We've got turbo oil tracker, which actually does work as well. And if I just go back, take that off and go back to there, that comes up there. See, the aircraft must be parked at the apron before using, so we can't use anything in there now because the aircraft is actually is moving. So we're going to come back round here, I believe. Okay. There we go. And if you've got navigation in front of us there, navigation is switched on the autopilot. So we're going to take off from down here today. Just going to do a quick circuit at the airfield and then come in for a landing. just give it a test. I don't want to do a long flight. Obviously, we're not taxiing very quick here, but like I said, the conditional levers are where they were when the aircraft's loaded up. The prop levers are on the idle, and the throttle levers, I've not even touched the throttle levers. The throttle levers are basically on idle. I've not touched them, and we're moving under the aircraft's own initial power. And if I put the brake on here and go to pedestal, turn the high track right, as you can see, I've not touched any of those at all. But you have got taxi underneath there as well, but I've not had to touch any of those to get the aircraft moving. I'll take the parking brake back off, so we're going to be going onto the runway. And again, I believe now we've got to switch the anti-collision lights up to on, and we can put the landing lights on as well. We can go back to normal view again. I'm not touching any of the power. It's just moving under its own power basically. I've not touched any throttles, so we're not taxiing too fast, which is good. So we're just going to follow the taxi line all the way around to the runway. There we go. So it's runway 12 we're departing on. Here from Tenerife North. So we're going to come to a stop here, and we're going to put the parking brake on. Now I will have to touch the throttles now, because we're going to be needing full power for takeoff. So you can use the mouse scroll wheel down or up basically, and the same with the propeller levers. We're going to put them on full. I've also got a feature called the stat feature, which is here, which brings up the information in the top right hand corner. If I press shift and Z, or not shift and Z, if I press shift and X, it cycles through it is actually shift and Z, it cycles through them, but that's set up for another few, so I've got to change that. I'll change that now actually, because that's going to really annoy me. So if you go into controls and I put in search by input shift and Z, we don't want screen mode, so we're going to we need to unbind that. So we need to delete that, and we need to delete that, and we can go back. So now if I search by input shift and Z, it shouldn't come up with anything. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I just wanted to get rid of that. So we can go back into this, back in there, and shift and Z obviously cycles through there. So we got frames per second, fuel, sim rate, etc., and we've got all the information on here as well. Altitude, speed, the wind, or you can just have one line at a time. It's up to you. I'll get rid of it off the screen for now, but I just want to show you that got that option. You can get it downloaded from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2.2 as a free download. Okay, and so I think we are ready to go. I don't think there's anything else we need to do while we're on the runway. obviously autopilot and your damper we haven't switched on yet. We'll do that when we get in the air. It's down here, so it's a little bit more awkward, but it doesn't matter. If you've got keyboard shortcuts or joystick shortcuts or yoke shortcuts, you can use those. I don't think there's any shortcuts anywhere here. No, okay, so we're going to go then. So we've got the parking brake on, so we're going to take the parking brake off, and we're going to increase to full power. So you guys try and keep the centre arm. My hand's not on the controller at the minute, so we're just going to the left slightly, which is relatively normal. I'm just going to adjust that. So we're just, there we go. We want to come off the ground, and we might need just to trim it slightly. There we go. So we can get the gear up. There we go. And obviously we can put the autopilot on and the yaw damper on down here. And yeah, I got to change that back to 3000. Go 2300. We can engage that, and we want to climb. There we go. So yeah, we're climbing up to, well, at 3,300 at the minute. So we needed to arm that really, didn't we? So we need to bring go back down to 2,000 feet, press on this, and then we can bring the BS down. There we go. We can just arm that, but we're not going to be doing too much today anyway. I'm just going to circle around in manual, so I'm just testing out the autopilot. So yeah, we've got no turns in at the minute. So if we come back up to the flight plan here and we can zoom out, let's just go up to it and see if it turns, because we can follow this round a little bit and then we can take over ourselves. So we should be turning left up here shortly, and we can obviously bring the flaps back up. Let's go to the outside views, or the interior cabin views. There we go. Yes, and we are turning, so it's working. It's following the navigation display, navigation on the autopilot. Just going to go around here and then bring it back in. I'm going to leave all this on. I'm going to leave the inverters in the initial separation on. I don't know if you need to turn them off. I don't know when you put them on or turn them off. That's what I've got to try and find out, but I'm going to leave them all on for now. Obviously at 10,000 feet the seatbelt signs would come off, and the landing lights would come off, but I'm going to leave those on because we're just under 10, but we're not going to get up to 10,000 feet. We're under it, so you leave those on. That's fine. We should actually clear these the mountains and stuff. We should clear them, hopefully. I'll keep me on it. We are going to be doing a left turn here. I'm just obviously just following the GPS there. If I bring up the EFB, yeah, we are here. But we can remove that one, and we can remove that one. So technically we can follow this all the way around, and it'll bring us back onto runway 12, and we can set up for the ILS. We could test that out in this video. It'll be a longer video, but we could test it out. Yeah, I'm just a little bit concerned about those mountains there. We need to get up a little bit. There we go. Let's just cycle up before we chop off the go into those mountains. We can bring it down a bit. How high are we? So we're at 3,000 feet. So if we just bring it up to about 3,500. There we go. We're just going over the top of them. That's fine. Okay. The scenery, by the way, is by Island Creations, the Tenerife scenery. Yeah, don't initially want to go up too high because we're going to be turning once we get past these mountains anyway. So we want to be basically bringing that back down. But if I bring up the approach procedure for ILS 12, if I just bring that down like so. So ILS 12, you want to be at 4,000 feet there, 4,000 feet. Where are we at? So Basux, you want to be at 6,000 feet and 4,000 feet. Okay. We establish on the ILS. That's fine. We're not going to worry too much about that. Today. So it's going to be in the altitude down. We're not going to worry about the altitude constraints in this particular video. The airspeed will be RPS, so we can bring the airspeed down a little bit, but we're going to keep it where it is. So you've got 16.8 miles to your next waypoint. We're doing 248 knots, so we can bring the airspeed down a little bit, because we are going a little bit too fast. There we go. And if I bring up shift said, it's up there as well. It's saying it's a little bit different up there as well, so that might be true airspeed. So we're now coming down to 2,300, and I've got us going down to about 2,000 feet. But we'll do a manual landing. The window opens as well, by the way. I can't hear any different in the sound, but that opens. And we're gonna give ourselves some flaps. So we're now at 2,000 feet, so it's working down here. Just going to bring the speed down a little bit, because we will now be turning, and I will take over and do a manual landing once we're lined up with the runway. It sounds pretty good, the aircraft. Just zoom in. Got a message there. Okay. So we should be following this now all the way down. We can switch to localizer mode. We have put the frequency in, so we can switch to the ILS frequency, and we will be on it. We will be passing under it, but we can switch to it and see how it works with the ILS frequency. We will try it, but we think we need to be at 4,000 feet. I'm going to be honest, because so we need to be up to 4,000 feet, and we need to engage that, and we need to be climbing. Let's just climb back up to 1,000 feet per minute. As you can see, we're climbing, because if we don't do that, we're gonna crash into the ground there, and we need to be at 4,000 feet to capture the ILS anyway. We can actually give it full power, see how it handles. So where are you? So 4,000 feet, it should come to a stop, and we're doing 119 knots, so the altitude should hold at 4,000 feet. I might press arm. Okay, so I've got to press arm down there. There we go. And we're going to actually press approach mode. Yeah, airport's there, so we're going to basically going to come off the go into the localizer mode. We may be a little high, but we'll see how it goes. We are in navigation and approach mode. There we go. Just checking that. Yeah, the airport is there, so get the gear down. And we can get the flaps down. The glide slope is there, so we're a little high. So we're not gonna get the glide slope today. So I'm gonna come off the autopilot, and I'm going to take manual control over the aircraft. So let's just lose some of the speed. We can bring up the up there, show our airspeed. It should be a real good aircraft to actually land, and as you can see, I've got manual control, but it's not going left or right. It's very stable on the approach. I'm just trying to bring the glide slope back up to the needle, see there. Try and keep it in the middle if I can. Just need to go over a little bit. Yeah, stuff's lined up. I've not recorded this. Maybe I should record this video before we do this. Let's record. Start. Get rid. Okay, let's just get back lined up with the ILS. The runway. Let's bring the speed back down. Throttles all the way to idle. Okay. Got the taxi ribbon on, but we don't need it on. Let's get that off. Flaps can come back up. And we can actually exit the runway at the next exit. We're not going to follow the taxi signs. Yeah, we can exit here, can't we? There we go, we'll exit the runway. We have got the idles all the way up to full, so we might be taxiing a little bit quicker than we did earlier. But we'll just come to a little stop here. And we can go onto the overhead panel and we can turn off the anti-collision lights back to rotating. And we can turn the landing lights off now. And on the overhead, no, we don't want to do that. Turn the left engine off by mistake, and we need to put those down to minimum. I did turn the left engine off by mistake then, didn't I? Technically you can taxi without the left engine running. If you want to, you can shut that engine down and just taxi on the right engine. I've done that by mistake. just use the left mouse button to do that. Otherwise you're going to be, if you go like that, it goes all the way. I don't know, for some reason it went all the way down. So yeah, you don't want to be making that mistake. Or just leave them on full if you to avoid cutting the engines. But I can just start it up there, it's easy enough. So I forget that happened. So yeah, we just want to bring the yellow ones down to minimum. You can leave those on full if you don't want to risk cutting the engines off until you get used to it. And obviously the throttles can come back down to idle as well. And so yeah, we can leave. Yeah, there we go. So that's all back up running. So we can just take the parking brake off then. There we go. And the aircraft should start taxiing again under its own power like it did earlier, which it is. And we're going to just taxi somewhere over here so we can just shut the aircraft down. I mean, if you can, if you wanted, you can give it a bit of throttle power to taxi quicker, if you wanted. I'm not quite sure how fast it taxis, but you just want to keep it under control. So we're taxiing a little bit quicker there. So we'll just taxi back to where we started from. Which is in the general aviation parking. So you saw on the left there saying Gen AV, just general aviation, so we can taxi back into the general aviation like so. And we can park, we'll park it anyway, there's no traffic in the game today. But no using any traffic today, so we'll just bring it to a stop. We'll turn it around and we'll bring it to a stop where we pretty much started from. There we go. That will do us. Just straightening up a little bit. Yeah, that will do. Okay, so parking brake can go on. Hear the sound, so we know parking brake is on. Okay, that's what we're going to do now then. We're going to I'm not going to worry about external power and stuff in this aircraft. I don't know whether you can use GSX to stuff like that or request the default ATC that comes with the game with the external power. I'm just going to stop this recording and save it. There we go, so we can get rid of that. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure if we can use the external power that way. I'm not going to worry too much about it though in this one. I don't think it'll drain the batteries. So the first thing we're going to do, obviously, because we've reached the we should have turned off the taxi lights before we came to the parking, so we don't blind anyone. Center pedestal, We want to now shut the engines down, right, then left, it doesn't matter which. And while we're there, we're just I wanted to get rid of that. On the overhead panel, we can put the seatbelt signs to off, and we can turn off the static quality and the passenger heat there as well. The anti-collision lights can now go off because we've got no engine running, so they can go off. The initial separators on the right and left can go off, and the inverters on the right and left can go off. Not sure if you're meant to keep those on during the flight. I'll have to read up on that. Generation 2 and Gen 1 can go off, right and left, and the passenger cabin utilities can go off, and that NAC NG can go off. Don't know what that is, but I'll have to read up on that one as well. If we're using any wipers, they can go off and possibly into park, but I'll leave them off. Obviously, down here on the obviously you can reset that if you want back to off. That's fine. Like the rest, you can turn off if you want to, if you're not doing a turnaround. Obviously on the EFB we can put the traffic cones in place and the wheel chocks. There we can get the main and cargo doors back open, and the tail rod can go in place as well. Got the up, that's fine. The emergency exit signs were over there. We can turn those off, and we can also turn the fuel pumps on the left and on the right on the main pumps. There we go. We won't need those on anymore. Back on the overhead panel, smoke signs can now go off, and the navigation lights can go off. For example, with all the deboarding now has been completed, so we move on to that stage of turning off the navigation and the no smoking signs. Panel lights can go off, cockpit light can go off. You can keep them on if you want to, if it's dark, and you can keep them on, so they're on for next time. Obviously you can put engine covers and the pilot covers back in place, and then we just need to, back on the overhead panel, turn off the battery. Back to a cold and dark situation as it was. So yeah, that was the EMB Embraer 110, the 110 Bandeirante or Bandeirante, however you pronounce it. A short flight around Tenerife North. I'm also going to write up the checklist procedure of this video. I'm going to be looking at a few things up here, what's needed on and what's not needed on at certain stages of the flight. It's in aerial separation and the inverters, etc. And whatever this is, I'm gonna read up on that to see when they should be on. It should be easy to read up and find those. But apart from that, yeah, it was a pretty good flight. I've not flown it for a while, but that was pretty trouble free. So I'm going to write that procedure up based on this video, so the next time I use this aircraft I should have a functional procedure written up for it, and I'll go off that. So yeah, just a short flight today. Again, I'll put the link in the description where you can get this aircraft. I'll put a couple of links in the description where you can buy the aircraft from. You might be able to get it on the marketplace. Oh, and before we move in the video today, I just want to show you the configuration of the aircraft. So this is the EMB-110 P1 Bandeirante that we've just flown. These are the liveries that come with the aircraft. It comes with a few different types of aircraft. There we go. So you can choose whichever one you want. You can have a plain white one as well. And if you go into variants, if you choose on this one, so this one would be the EMB-110P. I'm not quite sure what the difference is between the P and the P1. I'll have to look into that. Maybe the P's a slightly older aircraft, but if you choose that one and go into liveries, you obviously get a few different liveries there as well, including the plain white one. And if you go into this one at the end, you get the EMB-110P1, and this is the freighter version. So again, the liveries are you get one, and you get the plain white one. For that, you got the fuel and payload there, and you got identification, etc., there as well. Again, you can get these liveries off the website flightsim.to. Just go in there and search for the Embraer 110. You're bound to see a load of liveries that will work. Just make sure they work for 2024, Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, before you download them and try them, and then just put them in your community folder, and they should load up in here as well. So that's that. I want to show you that. Okay, and if you go into the marketplace on Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, you can also buy the Embraer 110 Bandeirante on the marketplace. Currently, as I'm recording this on the 2nd of April, it's actually currently in the Easter sale at in Great British pounds of £9.39, so it's 50% off its usual price. So if you're interested in this aircraft, then you can go and purchase it. The version should be the same version that I've just used. Again, it's got there compatible with Microsoft Flight Sim, as I've just tested, and it is 1.6.3, so it is the latest version. The last update basically was in the 9th of April 2025, so it's been about 12 months since it last got updated. It probably won't receive another update, as I'm not sure if the developer's still working on it, but it works in 2024, and for £9 for 50% off. That's not bad, and actually is quite cheaper compared to other places. If you go on AnyBuilds, for example, on the AnyBuilds website, you can get for £9.29. On Just Flights, it is £12.99. So the marketplace is giving you the best value for money at the minute if you want to purchase it. I can put a link into various sites as well, or I can just leave it as it is. There you can just search various sites and for the Embraer 110, and most vendors will have it, and probably at a cut down price, but the marketplace is giving you a good deal on it at the minute, so 50% off. So if you're interested in it, I'd get it off the marketplace, as it probably won't receive any more updates, so you're not going to be relying on the marketplace, waiting for the marketplace to update it after any online vendors who might get the updates beforehand, because I don't think it's going to receive any more updates anyway now. And so yeah, I'd definitely recommend getting it. I've not flown it for a long time, but I'm going to do some more flights with it. But yeah, I think I will leave the video there for this one, because I don't need to say anything more about it. So that was the Embraer 110 Bandeirante from NextGen Sim. It's got 50% off in the marketplace, so if you're interested, go and get it. You've seen my flight. It's very easy to fly. It's not a study level. It's a simple aircraft you can get up and running within a few minutes and go and do a flight with. You've got all the detail you need there. Just Google the PMS 50, right? PMS 50 for Microsoft Flight Sim in Google, and you'll come to a website, and you can download the GTN 750 free version. Download it, put that in your community folder, and if you haven't already got that, And what that happens then, when you put in your community folder, the free version, it doesn't just work with the Embraer 1110, it also works with other general aviation aircraft as well. So you can add that into your cockpits, and swap it about as well for the aircraft that support it. But you don't need the payware, you can just have the free version for that. If you just Google that, there's plenty of videos about that, so I'm not going to put that in. I'm not going to do a video on it. So if you do want the PMS 750, just download it. You can also get a TDS one as well from the GCXO integration, which is the more advanced one, but you probably have to go on the TDS Sim software website, and I believe that's only a payware. If you want to, but that will also work for other aircraft as well, but I don't know how much it is, so you can also get a payware option. But the free version is pretty good, so you don't really need to use the payware one. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for this video. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. I know I've got a few extra subscribers who've subscribed to the channel, so I appreciate that. Hopefully you've been enjoying the content, and hopefully this video today has come across helpful as well. Yeah, so I'm going to end the video there. Please take care, and be careful in whatever you are going to be doing. Enjoy Easter, because this video is going to be going out of Easter, so don't eat too many Easter eggs. Have a good time, enjoy the chocolate, enjoy the festivities, and I'll see you soon in the next video.